Hey there, my name is Angela. Welcome to my channel. Today I'm going to be talking about the Canon EF-M 55 to 200mm lens. So this lens was released in August of 2015, but I added it to my kit in September of 2020, and it is one of my favorite lenses, despite it being the last lens in my kit for me to review. I love using it for landscapes, and I'll talk a little bit more about that later, but let's just dive right into it. The design of this lens is super sleek, and it's made out of a metal and plastic material. Overall, it operates very smoothly, and one thing that I really like about it is how compact it is. It weighs in at only 9.2 ounces, which makes it really easy just to put in your camera bag and take on trips. And it also is designed with an EF-M mount, so it's made for M mount cameras. I have a Canon M50, so it works out perfectly in my case. And yeah, so overall I really like the feel of it. It feels very sleek, compact, and it zooms in and zooms out very smoothly. Brand new, this lens costs $349, but if you have watched any of my other lens reviews, then you know that I never really buy my lenses brand new. I usually buy them through Amazon Renewed, and the reason is it is way more affordable that way. So I bought it from Amazon Renewed for $288, so that saved me about 60 bucks. And what I like about Amazon Renewed is you have a 90-day warranty to kind of test out the lens, make sure it doesn't have any dust in it, and if you're not satisfied, you can always send it back. So check that out if you haven't already. And yeah, so that's pretty much it for pricing. Two features that this lens has that I really appreciate is the image stabilization and the ability to go into autofocus and manual focus. So for the image stabilization, it works very well, which comes in handy when you're zoomed in at 200mm. And for the autofocus and manual focus, what's cool about that is you're able to take macro shots with this, and the closest focus length is 3.28 feet. So you can have an object in front of you that's about 3.28 feet away and focus clearly. And I'll put some shots in right here so you can see what that looks like. As for the specs, based on its name, I'm sure you can tell it's a 55 to 200mm focal length, and I did a little bit of kind of side-by-side footage for you guys to see what that looks like in comparison to the minimum and maximum focal length of your kit lens if you have a Canon M50. So the way I set this up, I measured out 50 feet away from my camera on a tripod, and then I filmed with my kit lens set at 15mm, then this lens set at 55mm, then I maxed out my kit lens at 45mm and maxed out this lens at 200mm. And I'm sure you can tell the difference. This thing really is a game changer, and the kit lens can be very limiting with its focal length. So if you're looking to kind of take more zoomed in shots, then this would be a good choice. When it comes to aperture, this lens is capable of going down to 4.5, but that's only when it's zoomed out at 55mm. When it's zoomed all the way in at 200mm, it can only go down to 6.3. And just to give you guys an idea of what that looks like, I did a side-by-side portrait comparison of this lens and my Nifty 50, which is a set 50mm lens with a 1.8 aperture. For this first round of pictures, I'm standing 25 feet away from my camera, and this lens is set at 55 with a 4.5 aperture, and the Nifty 50 is set at 50 with a 1.8 aperture. Now for the second round of photos, my 50mm photo is the same one, but my 55 to 200mm lens for this photo is zoomed in at 100mm. For this photo, my 50mm photo is still the same, but my 55 to 200mm lens is zoomed in all the way at 200mm. And now for this last round of photos, my 55 to 200mm lens is zoomed in at 200mm, and I'm still 25 feet away from the camera. However, for my 50mm photo, I am now standing 10 feet in front of the camera instead. I just wanted to do this so you can kind of see what that 2.0 aperture does with the Nifty 50 when I'm closer Like I said earlier, I really like using this lens for landscape photography. When I first got it, it was a total game changer because it allowed me to really zoom in and capture details that I wasn't able to capture before, whether that be on a mountainside or of a tree or even the moon. Taking photos of the moon with this was so fun when I first got this camera, and it really was a game changer. Just to give you an idea of what I mean, here are some photos that I've taken with this lens. If you would like to see more of my work, feel free to follow me on Instagram, by the way. I gotta throw that in there, I'm sorry. I really love this lens, and it definitely added something to my photo kit and really opened up some opportunities for the type of photos I can take with my camera. The only complaint I kind of have is I wish it went up to 400 millimeters, but honestly for its price point, like, you get what you get, and I can't be stingy. 200 millimeters seems great for $288. I'm not fully ready to invest in a good telephoto lens because they can run upwards of $2,000, even more, like $5,000, $6,000. I think there was one I saw online that was $12,000, and I'm just not ready to drop that kind of money yet. And if you're not either, then maybe this will be a good lens for you to kind of dip your toes into telephoto photography. Aside from landscapes, something that this lens is good for that I don't really utilize it for is single subject portrait photography and photos of architecture. Something I wouldn't really use it for is group photos, because since you're so zoomed in, it's going to be really hard to fit multiple people in to a photo. And also videography, and that kind of goes along with the zoomed in thing as well, because if you're super zoomed in and videotaping, it's going to be kind of all over the place unless you have a tripod. So you can use it for videography if you'd like, but for me personally it just doesn't really work out. And yeah, with that, that's pretty much all I have to say about this lens. If this video helps you make a purchasing decision, don't forget to give it a thumbs up, and while you're down there, click that subscribe button as well. That would make me super happy. Just saying. I'll give you a second. Alright, cool. I'm assuming you did it. If you have any questions about this lens or the Canon M50 or any other lenses that you might be thinking about, leave them down in the comments below. And until next time, bye.